Hyannis Fire Chief Harold Brunel celebrates retirement, and Cape Cod Community College will beef up its nursing program thanks to a $1 million grant. These stories on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Monday, October 31st, 2016. I'm Sarah Mantle. Friends, family, and colleagues of Hyannis Fire Chief Harold Brunel gather to wish him well on his last day of work with the Hyannis Fire Department.
Oh, it just means the world, really. I mean, some of these people I've known my whole career, and some of them I've only met just recently. And we've had some citizens stopping in, and those are very emotional too, because sometimes they're people you've helped along the way, and you always felt that probably they appreciated it, but they didn't have time to say it. Not that they have to, but to have them come in and stop in after all these years and thank you for your service, that's really pretty special.
It means the world. Harold loves Hyannis. He loves the Hyannis Fire Department, and this is just such a special day. And for so many people to come from near and far to see him and wish him well is just incredible. It's very touching, and I'm so glad I'm able to be here to share this day with him. It's awesome.
Well, I've worked with the chief for my full 32 years on the department, and it's kind of an end of an era. He's done some awesome things here over the course of time, especially during his time as chief, but before that as an officer, a union member. He's really taken care of the men and the station, and we owe a lot of the good things that we have here today to his hard work and his ability to communicate with both the Board of Commissioners and the union to get where we're at today. And we want to keep on that same course moving on from today.
Chief Brunel is retiring after working with the Hyannis Fire Department for 44 years. Cape Cod Healthcare is in need of nurses and is turning to Cape Cod Community College for help. Channel 18's Sarah Colvin talks with Cape Cod Community College Communications Director Michael Gross.
I've been talking in our newscast about the big gift from Cape Cod Healthcare, $1 million for the nursing program, a very successful program, a great job opportunity program for the students and for everybody here on Cape Cod. Tell me a little bit about what this gift, how it came about, and what it's going to do for the college and the community.
The most important thing about the gift in many ways is that this is Cape people doing for Cape people, and it's going to continue to be that way because this whole project, front to back, is going to be done quite likely, really, without any kind of state funds. This is not going to be done with state building money and state funds in the project in terms of being able to really increase it. Certainly, we've had some Division of Capital Assets Management and Maintenance people in terms of architectural money, but this is really state money, not in the project. What really happened is that Michael Luff, the CEO of Cape Cod Healthcare, has been looking for some time to find a way to get more nurses, really needs nurses. Cape Cod Healthcare, an amazing organization, is growing, is numerous areas, not just the hospital, but certainly in the hospital, in needing real certified nurses, and a lot of them, and more of them. We're not exactly getting younger on this island, as they say, and they need them. And as it turns out, Michael Luff and Dr. Cox ended up in the same room at an event one night, and Michael Luff was saying, I need these nurses, and you have a nursing program, and Dr. Cox saying, yes, I have a nursing program, but under our accreditation standards, I can only have so many nurses times so many faculty times so much space, and it's a bit of a mathematical formula so that we continue the accreditation, and our nurses are amazing, the kind of instruction they get. They pass the nursing boards at higher rates than almost anyone around on a regular basis, so we maintain that standard. And Michael Luff and Dr. Cox continued to talk, and they started talking to the faculty, and by the time the talk was all done, Michael Luff said, well, listen, I can bring $1 million to the table, what can we do with that? And Dr. Cox came back and talked to the faculty, talked to some potential donors, and so by the time we're done, we will end up with 2 more faculty, a director. We now have already had architects looking at the entire lower floor of the north building that will be completely gutted out this summer the minute we're done with the courses we have going this academic year. We will completely, really, almost essentially double the amount of teaching space that we will have for our nursing program. And we will bring in up to, and it looks like we'll have 32 more nursing students each year to add in that we have on a yearly basis in our day program. Right now there are 64 nurses. You add 32 more, so we're up to 96 nurses every year. Every other year we add in another 32 nurses at night. And so the graduation, we're going to end up with roughly in the ballpark of 100 plus nurses graduating every year, and possibly more than that. And Michael Luff has said and really made a sea change for Cape Cod Healthcare. They've made the step forward as well, and they've said, we'll hire those nurses, we'll bring them into the hospital as novice nurses, because before the hospital would not generally by policy hire an associate degree nurse to put them on the floor in the hospital. They would prefer and really wanted a Bachelor of Science degree nurse. Now, certainly, we have an excellent program with UMass Boston. Our nurses, immediately as they enter the program, enter in with UMass Boston. They have the option, and many of them do, continue through and get their BSN. But generally speaking, before this entire process began, Cape Cod Healthcare wasn't bringing them into the hospital until they'd earned that BSN. And for all of this to work and the pipeline to really work, Cape Cod Healthcare had to change as well. And this is an amazing process. For everything to work, everyone on Cape Cod had to work for everyone on Cape Cod, and I think that's the thing that is truly astonishing.
So Michael, let me ask you this:
Sure, go ahead.
What is the the average nursing student these days? Without this program in place, what's the employment rate for them? Do they typically go to work here locally, or do they go to Boston, or do they go off to get that bachelor's degree? Do you have any data on that at this point?
I wish I had it in front of me. Every one of our nurses ends up working. There are plenty of places and different kinds of jobs for them to go and get work. But they would be in assisted living facilities. They might be in a doctor's office. There are places for them to work. But truly, one of the things that really was happening was that our nurses would head up into the Boston area to go study and either work in hospitals up there on kind of secondary levels, or start their Bachelor of Science in Nursing. And in fact, during the presentation, Michael Luff was saying, well, gee, great. They would go to Boston. They would do all their clinicals headed to their bachelor's degree in Boston. Do you think they'd come back? He said, our biggest problem was we couldn't bring them back. We need nurses. Trying to pull them out of Boston to come back to the Cape to work was nigh on to impossible. So that, you have a great program and your nurses graduated, and then they would go out into the workforce, or they would go up into Boston to work, where, of course, there is a great need as well. And how would we get them back? And so growing them here, creating the program here for them here was the answer.
And you can find out more about that program by visiting capecod.edu. Well, be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 8 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will chat with Police Chief Paul McDonald. We'll talk with DPW Director Dan Santos. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.